Sounds good. Sounds good.
Hello, everyone. People don't fear change. They fear being changed. Let that sit. We are not wired to resist evolution. We adapt all the time. We move cities, we switch careers, survive heartbreak, and binge new technologies like it's second nature. But in organizations, change often feels like something done to us, not with us. And that distraction matters. It determines whether we feel empowered or powerless. When change becomes constant but directionless, when the why is vague and outcomes are unclear, we don't get stronger. We get tired. We disengage. This talk isn't about surviving change. It's about turning the exhaustion of change fatigue into resilience, a kind of power that not only gets you through the chaos, but positions you to thrive in it. Because on the other side of resistance is opportunity. Let's talk about what change fatigue actually looks like in the wild. It's the sigh before yet another all-hands meeting. It's the sarcastic Slack messages. It's the I'm just here so I don't get fired energy. It's the talent walking out the door, not because of change, but because they weren't part of it. It's the emotional arc of many teams navigating continuous transformation. They're excited, they're confused, they're hopeful, then they're overloaded. And then they just check out. Sound familiar? Here's the irony. We often say our people are our greatest asset. But when it comes to leading change, we sometimes treat them like liabilities to be managed rather than partners to be engaged. We tell people to be agile, adaptable, and resilient, and yet we rarely give them the tools, time, or trust to do it well. That's not a culture of change. That's a culture of survival. Let me tell you about a team I worked with years ago. They had gone through 3 restructures in 2 years. New leaders, new roles, shifting strategies. Felt like every time they found their footing, the rug was pulled again. Then leadership announced yet another change initiative. And one employee, eyes glazed, said, "Just tell us what to pretend to care about this time." Now that might sound harsh, but it wasn't sarcasm. It was a shield, a way to protect themselves from disappointment, from burnout, from investing in something that felt temporary. But here's the twist. 6 months later, that same team was thriving, leading innovation pilots, proposing new ideas, stepping into change instead of ducking from it. The turning point wasn't a fancy platform or a new incentive plan. It was how leadership showed up. They stopped pushing change at the team and started co-creating change with them. They did 3 powerful things. They communicated clearly and consistently, not just the what, but the why. Not in a quarterly memo, but through weekly check-ins, town halls, and even anonymous feedback loops. They connected personally. Leaders said, "We know this is a lot." They asked real questions, like, "What's one thing making this hard for you right now?" They listened without jumping to solve. They co-created solutions. They invited team members to help shape the rollout. If this change is going to work in your world, what needs to happen? You want to see resistance disappear? Give people a voice on how change happens. This isn't a soft skill. This is a survival strategy. When people feel heard, they feel invested. When they feel invested, they show up. When they show up, resilience grows. We need to redefine resilience. It's not about gritting your teeth and powering through. It's not just bouncing back. True resilience is adaptive. It sounds like I've changed, I've grown, I've learned to navigate uncertainty, not by pretending it's not there, but by moving through it. Resilience is rooted in three things: self-awareness, knowing when you're depleted; support, knowing you're not alone; sense of purpose, knowing why you're doing this. And here's the business case. Organizations that intentionally build resilience muscles through culture, systems, and leadership outperform those that don't. They don't just weather storms, they learn how to dance in the rain. So how do we actually turn change fatigue into fuel? We normalize emotional responses. Change is emotional. Confusion, fear, hope, it's all valid. Make space for it. Provide clarity even when it's imperfect. You don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to show up honestly. Transparency is trust currency. Build psychological safety. If people don't feel safe to speak up, you won't know when they're drowning. Create cultures where I'm struggling is a strength, not a threat. Reward resilience, not just results. What if performance reviews asked, how did you help others adapt? How did you stay grounded during change? Where did you learn the most? Let's start celebrating the human skills and keep teams together when everything else is shifting. And here's the fifth one. Make rest a strategy, not a luxury. No one builds resilience in burnout. Give people time to recover, reflect, reset. The pause is part of the performance. Let's be honest, change is not slowing down, but our relationship with change can. It can go from forced to intentional, from draining to energizing, from resistance to resilience. What if your greatest moment of transformation as a leader, a team, an organization, comes not when things are easy, but when things are hard, messy, and uncertain? Change fatigue is real, but so is the power to reframe it. Not by pushing harder, but by pausing and listening and building strength.